Welcome to the New Venture Challenge General Track Finals. I want to thank our three judges this evening for using their years of expertise and their also love of all things startup land to come and judge tonight. So judges, I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself. I know it's a little awkward, but our three judges tonight.
Hi, I'm JP O'Brien, Managing Director at Black Lab Sports. We're a venture firm here in Boulder, kind of in the human performance and human potential space.
My name is Trish Groom, and I'm with Next Wave Ventures. We are a group of 100 women who created a fund, and we focus on social impact investments.
I'm Brad Werner. I teach at CU through the Deming Center, actually. But bottom line is I'm an entrepreneur as well, a serial entrepreneur. I've made a lot of great investments and a lot of really silly ones. So welcome.
Let's give our judges a big hand. So for those of you who, unlike our ventures, have not been practicing this and dreaming about this for the last couple weeks, how tonight will work is each startup will get 5 minutes and only 5 minutes. I will be sitting in the front giving you all dirty looks as you get close to the end of your 5-minute time. And we're holding up a 1 when you have 1 minute left. Then our judges will get 5 minutes total to ask any follow-up questions they may have for our ventures. At the end of those 5 minutes, again, hook comes out and you get pulled off stage. We will then change to our next venture. This will be repeated for all 6 teams tonight. At the end of those 6 teams, our judges will be sequestered where they get to have their deliberations and figure out who our top teams are tonight. The total prize money at stake here tonight is $6,500, which is incredibly exciting when you have some of these ventures that are just getting off the ground. And the best prize, besides obviously the money tonight, is that the winner of this track gets to participate on April 4th for the New Venture Challenge Championships, which will be at Boulder Theater, where you're competing for not only a much larger amount of prize money, but also competing in front of judges and other leaders in our startup community for more information and more mentorship for your venture. So without further ado, I'll hand this over to our judges, and when I give you the signal, I'll give you a hand up and you can start.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Gorovoy, and I'm the co-founder of Integrity Home Health Technology Services. So first, what is a home health agency? Basically, home health agencies provide skilled nurses and therapists that provide care for homebound patients. Okay, so anytime a nurse or therapist visits a patient, they are by law required to fill out what is known as a plan of care file. And they are by law required to do only the services the doctor has prescribed. So for example, this patient needs physical therapy as well as shampooing or hygiene help. So the nurse comes in to the patient's home. She checks off she's done these 2 things. It's all good, right? However, the problem is in the quality assurance process. For a home health agency to legally bill for its services, the plan of care file that the nurse or therapist fills out must be identical to what the doctor has prescribed. That is why every agency has a quality assurance process. I'd like to meet Dawn. She is the director of quality assurance at a local home health agency here in Denver, Colorado. She spends her whole day, every day, making sure that the doctors' and nurses' plan of care files are identical. And she does this by basically printing out the plan of care file for the nurse, then printing out the plan of care file for the doctor, and manually comparing them. This process is fundamentally flawed and inefficient. Each of these reviews takes 1 to 3 minutes. And imagine having to do 400 to 500 of these reviews day in, day out. And on top of that, there's a 5% error rate either way, where some kind of discrepancy between the 2 files goes unnoticed. And the worst part, if one of these discrepancies goes unnoticed and then your company is audited, this can lead to potential shutdown. Our solution is an automated comparison tool. It's effective. It works in seconds. It's accurate, so the algorithm always works anytime, every time. And it's incredibly cost effective. Now, one person can handle 10 times the volume as before. And it's based on a unique scanning algorithm. So here's how it works. You take these two files, you drag them into the file compare tool, and that's it. If any kind of errors come up, it pops up. Otherwise, the system just doesn't report anything. Very simple. Our business model is also very simple. Basically, for an agency to use this tool, it'll be $600 per month. And this is much cheaper than the current option of hiring a quality assurance employee, which averages about $55,000 per year. So, where are we now? We have just finished our MVP. We are currently running a pilot with a large home health company here in Denver, Colorado. We plan to launch our product to the public in June. This is a market with a lot of potential. There are currently 12,200 home health agencies in the United States. And home health agencies make up the third largest provider of long-term care in the United States. And on top of that, the long-term care industry is estimated to be $370 billion. And with a quickly aging population, this market is also estimated to grow to about $550 billion by 2024. So not only we understand that this review process is a little flawed, there are other people in this industry as well. However, many of them have not been able to tackle some technological hurdles. So some providers do a manual review in which you can send your files out to a third-party company and they'll do it for you. Some provide a same screen review where you can see both files at the same time, but we will truly be the first automated platform. We plan to sell through consultants because consultants are able to help home health agencies through the sea of regulation in this industry, and consultants will be given a commission every time they successfully sell a product to a home health agency. We have a rock star team. So to my right is Edward Gorovoy. He is a long-time entrepreneur. He has a lot of experience as a developer, as well as in the long-term care industry. Then to my left is Srihar Panapal. He's our head developer. He has over 25 years experience as software developer in Fortune 100 companies. And to me, that's me. I'm also a computer science major here at the University of Colorado Boulder. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is my second company. And we are advised by one of the top consultants here in Colorado, Irina Vasek. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. That was great.
Thank you.
So just to clarify, you were doing, on the revenue model, let's start there. I was trying to understand. So $600 a month per what?
For just unlimited use of the tool.
And do you have any tiering around that, or is that for per agency? Is that per?
Oh yes, per agency. So you buy like a license and you get $600 per month per license. And let's say you have multiple branches, it'll work there as well. But the home health industry is built in such a way where it's a lot of small companies kind of thing.
Okay, great.
Can you explain a little bit more on how your technology works?
Yes, so basically files come in as kind of like PDF files, and we scrape them into, we convert them into HTML. And then from there, we do the scanning from there. The unique thing about our technology is that a lot of these files have some interesting logic in it. So some of the doctors prescribe things that are only once a week or once a month, or maybe they have some text fields where the doctor puts in unique information. So the uniqueness of our tool is able to handle those edge cases. So like the once a month comparisons or the once a week comparisons. So let's say one person did Tuesday, the nurse did Thursday. So doctor prescribes once a week. I did Thursday this week, I did Monday next week, Wednesday next week after that. Our tool is able to understand that and say, okay, it's still happening once a week, and that's where the uniqueness of our technology is.
So all of these agencies are using the exact same format. So
yes,
you don't have to.
It's standardized by the government.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you. First of all, how did you get interested in the healthcare business?
Both my parents work in the healthcare industry, and my previous company, Chimer, actually we also built like a matching tool, And then I spent some time with my parents over the summer, realized that this process was ridiculously inefficient, and applied some of the logic in there into this.
So is matching in itself unique to the industry?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So you talked about the matching tool that you created.
Yes.
But it seems to me, are other firms using matching the way that you're discussing it right now, where in a sense you could either at least check for errors at a minimum?
So at the moment, like in our competitors right now, yeah, so basically what's currently happening is a manual review. So they're putting out both these files and they're manually reviewing them, right? Other agencies such as Access and Home First Care, you send them your files, they'll do it for you, kind of a thing. And then the same screen reviews, they'll put up both screens in front of you, and you can check the files at the same time, kind of thing.
So it's visual matching, or someone else is matching, but it's not actually electronic
matching? Yes, we'll be the first algorithmic, it's doing it for you.
Okay. What kind of error rate are you getting? Through your testing right now?
What do you...
Well, you said that an individual that does this has about a 5% rate of error. They make mistakes. What kind of mistakes are you finding? Are you 100% perfect?
No, we're good. Yes, sir.
Interesting. Okay. Other questions?
So on your go-to-market strategy was through consultants.
Yes.
Describe what that consultant looks like to me.
So the home health industry is built in such a way so the government has put, just a ridiculous amount of regulations on home health companies and quality of care, etc. And they're relying on these consultants to help them guide them through this to stay compliant. So consultants come in every once in a while. They'll help you with your files, with your data storage, etc. And during that process, our plan is to kind of partner with them. And when they're coming into these agencies for kind of, let's say, checkups or those kinds of things, they'll say, we can help you really simplify your quality assurance process. We recommend this tool. So that's why we plan to partner with them.
So how are you going to identify and market to those consultants?
So the consultants are in a public database, it's government regulated as well, so who's certified, who's not certified. So we're literally directly reaching out to them. As well, we do have some connections as well who are consultants, who are actually respected consultants. So by word of mouth as well, it's been very powerful to kind of say, this tool is being developed, you guys should look into this to help your agencies kind of simplify their processes.
Great, and just so I know, have you actually worked with any consultants yet?
Yes. Irina Vasic, she's a very respected one. She's actually a part of our team. So.
Okay, great.
Is that a rev share model that you have going with the consultants?
Yes. So we haven't figured out the percentages exactly, but something that's kind of still in discussion. But that's what we plan on doing.
Have you actually talked to an end user? Do you know that they want this service? Have you talked to the final customer?
Yes, sir. So we've been, during the development process, we worked very tightly with this one home health agency here in Denver, as well as we talked to multiple other ones. But basically, home health agencies, due to the amount of regulation, they're almost like cookie cutter. This one, just by regulation, has to be function almost identically to the next one. So once we identified a need in probably a good 12 to 10, we said, okay, this is enough in this kind of space, and we went forward from there. Thank you.
Chris, I'll take your mic.
Hey guys, I'm Jack Fitzgerald. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Spectrums. We're aware that students who have a high involvement in music and the arts have shown 2 times graduation rates from college. At the same time, 1.3 million elementary school students in the US don't have access to a music classroom. Those that do have access are often crowded around musical instruments that are out of repair and out of tune. As a team of musicians and music instructors, entrepreneurs, and engineers, we've created the world's most portable, versatile music creation device. Introducing Spectrums. They're app-connected rings that turn color into sound, making the world your sound machine. Using Spectrums is as easy as downloading our app. Sorry. It's as easy as downloading our app, tapping to connect the ring with Bluetooth, and then programming the colors around you to hundreds of instrument sounds. If you think that's cool, here's what you can do with 2 rings and a little bit more practice. Testing. It's been 3 years of work to get to where we are now. You got to present. You don't want to go full screen? Yeah, thanks. So towards the end of 2016, we were filed and were issued our utility patent. This patent protects our process of transforming tapped colors into any output signal, for example, sound. We also went through 9 major iterations of our technology, working with customers and experts at each stage to improve our hardware and software. And we manufactured and shipped 100 and more rings to our first happy customers. This was all in preparation for a huge Kickstarter campaign, where in August and September, with 30 days and a $15,000 goal, we raised almost $190,000 from almost 2,000 customers with 4,500 orders of rings from over 50 countries. People are talking about us, including Fast Company, who agrees that our product can turn any surface into a virtual drum set. And Now This agrees that our product is perfect for little musicians too. Most importantly, here's what teachers think about bringing spectrums to the classroom.
Oh my gosh, the options for these in the music classroom are completely endless. And all of a sudden their eyes lit up and they were ready for music and they were excited about music in a way that they haven't been before. It was incredible.
Spectrums allows kids to use their creativity in ways that we haven't been able to do before.
Spectrums were the perfect way to keep students engaged in music through technology. I mean, they have 100 instruments right at their fingertips, something that we can't even think about having in a regular music classroom.
Nice. So, besides teachers, who are our 2,500 customers? Well, we did a survey at the end of our Kickstarter campaign. And we asked our customers lots of questions. And using that data, we were able to decide that the 3 key segments of our market are musicians, parents, and teachers. To those customers, we sell our product in pairs for $89 on our website, also in a 10-pack at a slight discount. And we sell accessories like carrying cases and activity booklets. We're also prototyping a new drumstick design. So we're excited this month to be continuing fulfillment, shipping 300 rings on Thursday. And in April, we'll be receiving our final manufactured run and shipping out 5,000 rings to all of our Kickstarter and pre-order customers. Then we'll be excited to focus on feedback. With help from the winnings from this competition, we'll be able to hire a supply chain consultant, which allows us to focus, for our team, to really focus face-to-face with our customers and learn and improve our product. We'll also be ramping up for an Amazon launch on July 15th. We'll be manufacturing more units and also increasing our marketing efforts at that time. Equally exciting is we're going to be working with elementary schools in the area, like Foothill Elementary, as pilot programs where we work with their teachers and students to develop curriculums. Finally, we're also working with a retail agency called The Stable to bring our product to shelves before the holiday season. Most importantly, our team. We're made up of enthusiastic and exciting entrepreneurs from very diverse backgrounds and experiences. Many of us are CU grads or current CU students, but we're all united by the one goal of bringing music to everyone's fingertips. Thank you.
Can you talk more about your manufacturing and go back to your team slide? Who has a lot of knowledge about the manufacturing and that whole supply chain?
We, as a team, are working with some exciting mentors, especially focused on some of the big decisions about manufacturing, procurement, and supply chain. Steven, who's the founder, who's not with us today because he's in California, meeting with Apple, actually. He is especially focused on bringing, besides the engineering itself, on finding the best partners to manufacture our product. So currently, we're also working with a company called Macrofab in Houston, and they're kind of a startup themselves, but they help startups from prototyping to scale from 10,000 plus units. So they've been really helpful in guiding our journey so far.
So they're here in the U.S.?
Yeah, Macrofab is based in Houston, and they do some of the manufacturing there, but another factory we work with is in Mexico.
And what's your cost on the manufacturing?
The cost per unit, which is a pair, is about $34 or $40.
I was curious about your thoughts about Toys R Us and what it means to toys distribution channel.
I think I would suggest that that's representative of a shift we see across many industries. While we sell as a toy in some ways, we're also excited by the interest from music producers and music teachers as a tool for exploring and producing music. In general, we are excited to work with some big box retailers, but equally excited about our success so far and continued success about selling online through e-retailers as well as our own website.
I saw on your timeline you had Amazon, and I'm thinking Launchpad, and I'm thinking all these things, right? But what's your strategy for going direct if that is going to be, I'm thinking is your biggest part, is your own website or through some of your STEM partners? Mm-hmm. How do you think about that as the marketing officer? It's been kind of fun for us to sell through our own website, besides Kickstarter, which was a wonderful way of getting into the market as well. But we understand that websites like Amazon and some of the other big online retailers are just the way that customers go to find product. And in that way, we understand we have to work with them, and we're excited to work with special programs like Amazon Launchpad, Amazon Seller Central, and the agency we've been working with focused on retail is called The Stable. They've been really helpful with teams with 20 years of experience buying on Amazon. So we're excited with their guidance, and Amazon's going to be a great first step into online retail.
Jack, congratulations. First of all, $188,000 on Kickstarter, real validation. So congrats to that. And secondly, to actually deliver on that, that's impressive. Thanks. But will you talk me through who is your target customer? I'm not certain if you're talking schools, are you talking moms and dads, are you talking kids themselves? How do you envision kind of your entry, and then also how you'd like to grow and the strategy there?
Mm-hmm. I kind of like to say that our target customer, or our customers, can range from a young kid, first time exploring music, all the way to a death metal drummer in a band. But in general, we've seen a ton of interest and have been most focused on the younger audience, selling to kids through their parents.
What does that mean, younger audience?
Kids in elementary school through middle school, so ages 5 to 12, about a little older. We've been working with their teachers, their parents, to help bring Spectrums into the classroom, or else selling as a consumer product to the parents.
So that's really, you can start with one school at a time, but how do you plan on actually getting the word out and trying to grow this? What is the strategy there in your marketing strategy?
So in general, we're excited about continuing to sell to consumers, and in that way spreading through word of mouth and referral. But we're also really excited about some of our team. For example, Jenna, Director of Education, is focused on meeting with teachers, learning from them, and building curriculums, and helping to make it easier for them to bring it into their classroom, especially through grants. So it was pretty quick, but we were really excited about some of the grants that teachers have been receiving recently, $5,000 in the past couple of months, and locally and internationally. As a STEM product, it's something that the government and private grants as well are going to help teachers bring to the students.
Hi, I'm Eric Atencio, and I'll be going over Vision 3D Scanner. It's a mountable 3D scanner for smartphone devices. So, all of us interact with objects and spaces on a daily basis, at almost every moment of the day. And 80% of adults in the United States own a smartphone. With Vision 3D Scanner, you're able to integrate both worlds into one product, where you can easily just mount to the back of your phone, scan an object, and then you can export the data into a digital file. So to go over some customer profiles, I want to go over several different fields. First is Jenny. She's an interior designer. Her big pain in life is that she has to model spaces and objects from scratch all the time. and that's a big waste of time and money. She wants something that can easily just remove that process. Next is Brandon. He's a product designer, specifically in legacy hardware or updating new products. And his big issue is that a lot of those products don't have existing CAD files anymore, so he has to make everything from scratch as well. Finally, Karen, she's a structural engineer who designs tunnels. Her big spiel is that she wants to be able to make sure that all the equipment goes into the tunnels and she can get real-time data back to her customers and also her coworkers. So the best part about Vision 3D Scanner is that if you can see it, you can scan it. And it works for a majority of fields and industries. To go over the process, first I created a basic wireframe app just to kind of get the spectrum out to people of how this app would be laid out and how it would possibly work. After that, created an interactive app where users can actually log on. They can go on this device and they can actually mount the scanner to the phone as well. And they can actually act like as if there's 3D scanning spaces, and then they can act like they're post-processing. So this is kind of the process right here. The product itself consists of 3 different components. It's the scanner body, and then this is the scanner mount that has a dry adhesive that mounts to most phone surfaces, and then the power and data cable. Existing products right now, the closest competitor is a occipital structure sensor, based out of Boulder actually. And I'm not going to go into too much detail of how the product is made or how it works, but it's specifically made for iPads. There's a separate clip-on mechanism for the iPad itself, and it's also pretty big compared to most smartphones. Another method used for 3D scanning is actually called photogrammetry, where it takes hundreds or thousands of photos and it does its best to stitch all these photos together. As you can see in this picture, that's kind of the process. And if there's only one object in the space, the process is pretty well. Otherwise, if there's other objects in the space, it doesn't work too well. So the estimated cost for the startup right now is about $125,000. And this is mostly for the development, the fabrication, and also the production of the products. Another big part of the startup cost would actually be legal fees for IP and other stuff to cover my butt in the end. The business plan right now, I've found a need in the end, and then the development of the hardware has been confirmed and it actually does work. And now it's integrating the functionality in an app. After that, fabrication and production and sending this to market would be the next step. The SRP estimate right now is about $150, and comparing that with the occipital structure sensor, the occipital goes for about $400, so we can compete with them pretty well. The break even with sales, for breaking even for the startup costs, we need to sell about 600 to 1,200 units. And to compare that to occipital, with their startup on Kickstarter, they sold about 3,500 units. So in the end, this is actually a pretty feasible project. Updates right now, I'm in need of a co-founder at the moment. I want someone who's like-minded as me as well, and who can see this thing forward. I'm currently interviewing other people, app developers, marketing gurus, and embedded systems engineers to help me get through this next step. I'm getting financial advice from Tucker Ash, and he's in the crowd right now. And I'm also getting some app development guidance from a friend of mine named Saeed. And I love for you guys to spread the word about this product, and I'm really ambitious about this, and I want to see it through. My name's Eric Atencio, and I have a vision. Vision 3 scans a first step to a bright future. Thank you.
So I'm not sure I understand why the iPad is not as good as using your own iPhone. I imagine those 3 people that you gave us, those personalities, already have iPads. So why would it be better to be on an iPhone?
Well, everyone has a phone, a smartphone. Not most people don't have an iPad. At least, majority of people hold a phone in their pocket every day. Whereas an iPad, it's not accessibility of carrying an iPad around with you.
So
also, the device itself is smaller than the structure sensor as well.
Okay, so none of those personas was just a general person. Mm-hmm. So I just want to know, why would I want to do 3D scanning if it's not part of my profession? Just during.
It could be for leisure, it could be for fun and experimenting. The fields are endless. Like other fields I've actually interviewed as well and tested the product out was with like clothing lines and whatnot. They really liked it because you can scan shoes and bodies and stuff. And one of the big markets we're going after is actually to make sure like body size comparisons and verifications for online purchases. So it can span out more beyond just the engineering and technical fields. It can go into the daily life fields as well. I hope I answered your question. Okay.
Just first, let's talk about, again, back to the use cases. So how big of a scan do you want to be able to, do you think that your program is going to be able to?
The 3D scanner, the hardware right now has a 12-meter range. And in the maximum 12-meter range, it has an accuracy of like about 2 to 3 millimeters, which is pretty good for a large space. But then when you get down, it actually gets pretty precise on a shorter scale.
So translate that for me. So what does that mean? So I can scan you.
You can scan me, and then, well, this room is about a good 12-meter space. So you'd be able to scan this room within a 3 millimeter accuracy.
And I'd be able to digitize that and then put it into my own world.
Yes, and put it into a digital file. And you can either edit on your phone or export it out to a computer or device.
Tell me about the current IP that's in the space.
The IP right now would be the mounting methods. There's also internal components, the hardware as well, that would also probably have to go through an IP process.
I meant really more for your competitor. What do they have today that you'd have to go around to circumvent that?
I'm not too sure. I need to actually look into that, actually.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. How long have you been working on this?
I came up with the idea at the end of the summer of 2017. And then from there, kind of went on a hiatus, kind of was working through different types of physical products and prototypes. And then I kind of restarted the beginning of this school year, not this semester, but.
And what type of engineer are you?
Mechanical engineer.
Mechanical. I ran across a company just last week where you could take your iPhone, lean it in the corner of the room, stand in front of it, turn in a circle, and they'll make custom clothing for you.
Oh, wow.
Why is that? Why are you different from them?
With me, they're probably using, I'm not really sure the process. Usually for phones, you have to use a photogrammetry process, which is the photo stitching method, whereas mine is going to be a LiDAR process where it actually shoots a light out, bounces off a surface and comes back. So it's a more accurate method of scanning.
So are you saying that your differentiation basically is miniaturization, excuse me, and what else? Tell me why you're different, whether it's an iPad or a phone. If I want to take a 3D scan of something, why are you better?
Why am I better is, in the end, it's actual, you're going to get an actual reliable data, unlike just stitching a photo. Okay. And from there as well, the mounting process and everything else is different. To add on to the like iPhones and smartphones, the technology there, that's why they're trying to work towards a VR and AR like into phones, but installing accurate LiDAR is still way down the road. And that's why they're developing methods such as the photo stitching method.
Have you talked to any potential customers that you're solving a problem for? Other than kind of your brainchild, have you gotten some outside input of people that may want to use this or you think that may want to use this?
Yeah, I've gotten input from like some of the people up there, the designers, clothing designers, the tech engineers, technical field, structural engineers, and yeah, I was going to go into another process, but that's actually more of the adult-rated, realm of tech industries. So.
And then what would be your guess if you had to put a price on this? What do you think it would cost to make, and what do you think you could sell it for?
Oh, so I had it on one of the slides. It goes for about $150 to $200. I'm comparing that to like the structure sensor,
what do you
which
think
is about.
could make this for though?
Wait, what? Oh, the wholesale price or the wholesale price would probably be around a $50 or $70 range. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nexted is going to change the 9-to-5 work week. My name is Ryan, and my brother Steven and I have been working on this for the past 18 months. A recent study done by CBS News found that 51% of 100 million full-time employees feel disconnected from their work. Out of this, they concluded that 16% felt hatred toward their work. A lot of people saw this as an opportunity, and a lot of these people that saw it as an opportunity are companies, and they're some form of a marketplace or a gig marketplace. So what is a marketplace? Well, it's pretty simple. A marketplace is a platform that links a buyer and a seller, or a customer and a service provider, or a rider and a driver, like Uber, Lyft, Airbnb. These are all examples of a marketplace or a platform. It's pretty basic. It just links the service provider and the service receiver. A lot of marketplaces today aren't perfect. TaskRabbit, Thumbtack, and Fiverr haven't met the needs of the buyers and the sellers. And a lot of this is due to customer service issues by having thousands of disputes every week, as well as a lot of buyers getting overpromised and underdelivered. Nected is a marketplace generator. We create marketplaces. In less than 5 minutes, we could have your fully functioning service marketplace up and running. So Nected's marketplace structure is unique. We give the creator of the marketplace or the point of contact of the marketplace's phone number as well as profile picture and reviews on the front of our marketplace, on the front of their marketplace, so customers can contact them beforehand to figure out exactly the service they need, as well as in case any disputes might arise inside that marketplace. Our mentors have been telling us that everyone wants to create the next Uber, but in reality, it is really, really, really difficult to create a successful marketplace. You need to meet the needs of the suppliers or the sellers and the buyers, as well as simultaneously building supply and demand. But Nected is unique, and we have a unique solution. We can add, change, customize, delete, or create a marketplace in a matter of 5 minutes. Nected's cookie-cutting ability to change an entire marketplace in a couple minutes is why none of the other players can play our game. So what value does this bring to all of you? Well, any of you right now can pull out your phones, go to nected.com, and create a free account. You could then submit a form to creating a marketplace. After we review it, you could go out and tell your friends about the awesome new marketplace and the community about your awesome new idea. Nected will make all of our entrepreneurs successful by establishing a repeatable process to creating a successful marketplace. How are we going to do that? Well, our plan right now, we currently have 8 marketplaces we are onboarding. With these 8 different marketplaces, we are creating 8 different landing pages. We're going to go off on 8 different verticals by using Google AdWords campaigns, Facebook pushes, Facebook ads, blog postings, content marketing, you name it, to drive traffic to each of these marketplaces. Once we drive traffic to these marketplaces, we're going to identify successful features leading the flourishing marketplaces, but more importantly, identify failing features that are leading marketplaces that aren't doing as well. We're going to fail fast and fail forward. And then using the lean startup model, we're going to try to pivot these marketplaces to becoming successful by using traits from the successful marketplaces. But how are we going to make money? Well, Nected believes that the customer should pay proportionally to the value they are receiving. So in other words, we want to charge them when they get paid. We take a 7.5% plus 30 cents of every job completed on Nected, and this covers our credit card fees as well as supports us. This isn't just an idea. Nected is already flourishing. We have 100 users in the last 2 months since launch, as well as have 4 marketplaces already up and running and 4 that are currently onboarding. But more importantly, we're getting daily feedback from all of our users to creating an optimal website that everybody loves. So now I'm asking all of you to go to nected.com, create an account, and give us some feedback. Even if you don't want to do anything, we would really enjoy and love the feedback. Or you could chat with me after if you have any great ideas or ideas for how we could make this come alive in every community. Thank you.
Ryan, thank you.
Yes.
So you said that you have currently 100 users.
Yes.
Does that mean 100 customers or people are just signed up? So what is your revenue right now?
Definitely. Okay, so that's a great question. We haven't performed any jobs yet. We have 100 users, and we've been focused on gaining more of the supply. So getting the workers and getting people interested in creating a marketplace. We just currently onboarded 4 marketplaces last week, And then we're in the process of bringing the other 4 on. And since it's taking us so long, we're kind of deciding if these are the right people for us to represent kind of our brand in the initial stages, even though we could make this marketplace immediately, but we're trying to build the supply before we go for the customers.
So what is your goal then? What is your goal in number of customers? I mean, are you predicting any sort of per user or per 100 user revenue? Have you thought about that a little bit?
Well, right now, we thought 8 was a great goal for us to go along and try to drive traffic to each of these landing pages. So we've been refining and defining this kind of go-to-market plan, if you will, that we hope to introduce this upcoming May. And that is these landing pages. We want each of our marketplaces to kind of show a little more trust behind it. So we want to create a customized page for each of them. And then really focusing mostly on Google AdWords, we want to drive traffic to each of these marketplaces.
So how much money are you going to invest to drive the traffic? Like how, and like what's your thought around what it takes to get a successful site?
Right, so right now our fees are very low and we only have $60 a month in hosting fees as well as only charged on a per transaction basis. And we are planning on running $100 Google AdWords campaigns with each of them just to initially start and kind of see the initial feedback and get some traction with some of them and then see kind of what happens with other ones.
You say that it's very hard to create a marketplace because of the supply and demand dynamic.
Right.
And then your unique value prop was that you can spin one up in 5 minutes and take one down in 5 minutes.
Right.
I'm wondering how that speed actually creates a sustainable marketplace.
So we actually have performed test transactions and everything, so it does work logistically. There's no really flaws in it. We do have some like glitches around some comments and stuff, but on the pages of the actual structure of the marketplace, it is very stable in terms of working transactionally based.
Yeah, so let me ask it differently, which is, if the platform, if a marketplace's value is like eBay, where they have a ton of sellers and a ton of buyers, how are you going to create a ton of sellers and a ton of buyers, or is that not your job in this?
So in the initial stages, we are going to drive traffic to it and then come up with that secret formula. The answer to your question could be as simple as it comes more down to the service being provided, or maybe it's the marketing strategy as a whole. Either way, we'll figure that out.
Great. One last question on that, which is, because of the other Fiverr and all the other ones you talked about were having such customer service issues, I think you might have hit on it, but can you say again how you're going to be different in solving that customer service issue?
Right. So we, again, this is an idea. So we are putting the point of contact, since our marketplaces are all kind of in a unique location, we have the ability to defer all the disputes to the marketplace itself. And we plan on having this kind of be showcased and branded, and the creators know that they're kind of almost like a middleman in a way to helping the customer find the exact service they need, so they're not being overpromised and underdelivered, as well as if there's a dispute, his number is right there, or his or her number is right there to call.
Can you give me more examples of a marketplace? Like you have 8. What are all the different types of marketplaces?
Definitely. So our very first one was a tutor marketplace. This lady, she works with a bunch of freelance tutors and herself is a tutor, and she's done it for years. And she thought it would be a great spot to almost connect all of them. And it's incentive for her to do it because since she created it, and now I think she has 3 people working with her, she could choose a percent she takes from all their work. And I think she's choosing around a 10% fee. So right now there's a tutor link. Another guy, Ronald, is doing a greeting card link where he hand writes these awesome custom greeting cards and he sends it out. And he really wants to almost monetize his skills and his passion and kind of build an idea or take an idea and actually build it into a platform or a service. So we have greeting cards, tutoring. Man, I'm drawing a blank big time.
And this
babysitting,
greeting cards, and I know we're up. He wants to train other people how to do what he's doing?
Yeah, so what he's doing is a really unique service, and he says he has 3 other friends that kind of do similar services to that, so he thinks it would be a great kind of unique spot for all of them to come together and work through. Awesome, thank you.
Hi, my name is Carrie Santos, and I love to code, and I'm very passionate about getting more women into STEM. I have been leading girls-only coding camps for over 5 years, and I have a company called Code Wagon to run these camps. But today I'm here to talk about Wine and Code, but you'll quickly see how these companies work together to serve the same mission. So, why is it important to focus on females in STEM? Frankly, the world of tech is a boys' place. And given the way that tech is portrayed in media, it's not surprising that girls don't want to go into tech. And they really don't. Over the course of their schooling, girls drop out very quickly out of tech fields. And right now, only 1 in 4 women, 1 in 4 professional STEM professionals are women. And we just have a pipeline problem. And parents who don't work in tech fields have a hard time engaging with their kids and explaining why they should be going into STEM classes or camps. So our solution is Wine and Code. Wine and Code runs women-only workshops that are fun, social, and supportive. These workshops are held in places that are comfortable for women, like coffee houses, wine bars, and private homes. Not only do we code and build stuff, we talk about how technology affects our lives, and we demystify tech so that women understand it better. So here's the project you would do at your first Wine and Code, and I also have them here. Look, they're lined up the same. The nice thing about these projects are you learn a little bit of programming, but each woman gets to differentiate it and make it something she can call her own, and she takes it home at the end of the workshop. This is examples of projects that we're looking at for future classes. So this is not a one-and-done experience. We have a full curriculum of many classes. Oh. All right. Here, the larger mission of my larger mission is to get more women in STEM. And so my thought is that as we teach these women, they can go home, they've got a cool project, and then they can start talking to the girls in their lives and get them to think about and advocate for taking STEM classes, whether that be in college, in high school, or perhaps my Code Wagon camps. So my target market is women that have girls in their lives. We want to reach women that are interested in lifelong learning, but also are a little bit tentative with technology. All right, and late last year, we've already run 2 workshops, and they were a great success. We've got a lot of feedback, but they weren't perfect. So what we've taken a lot of feedback, and we have already informed our future workshop offerings from them. So we charge $50 per participant, and already we make $9 of profit for each person that shows up. So if we're running 10 workshops a week, you can see that our first-year profit is $54,000, and we already think that we can drive down the cost of materials and staffing quite quickly. So where are we? We've already done our MVP. We've got 3 workshops set up for April, and our plan is over the next 6 months to ramp up so that we have 5 workshops per week. Then after that, we want to double every 6 months until we basically saturate the Front Range market. We hope to open permanent studios, and then once we understand our market really well, we intend to franchise. All right, so our competition is basically various establishments that have girls' night out. Oh, geez. And so what we've got here is, but we feel like we've got a stronger mission than some of the other things here. We've looked at painting with a twist to get an understanding of what our market looks like. Right now, they are the largest franchise operator. They have 384 franchises in the US, and they charge $45 a class. All right, here's my team. I basically was born to run Wine and Code. I have an EE from Stanford. I just graduated with my master's where I learned about teaching kids computer science. And I've done coding for 25 years and 3 years of teaching. My CEO, Christina, it has an MBA from Yale, 10 years of finance, okay. And so basically, this is what it's all about. Sure, you can have some fun, you can drink some wine, but really our goal is to have women understand technology and then push the next generation to be stronger. Thank you.
So that STEM barrier is even larger maybe for women that are not in high school because they're not necessarily in education. Just talk to me about that process that you've learned so far with those 19 women and how they break that barrier of that technology and that learning process.
Well, do you mean, okay, so are you talking specifically about what happened at our workshops or what they did afterward with that?
Your thoughts, well, maybe what happened at the workshops and also how you think about attracting women into that unknown.
Yeah, so I think women, especially if they're moms, are always looking for a fun night out. And what I really think is, and for a new experience. And so I really pitch this as a fun night out. You do it with your friends, just like you might go to a sip and paint place. But yet you've got this greater mission of actually learning something and perhaps even thinking about your own career or your children, your daughters or your children's ability to get in. I think if you can come home, show this to your kid and say, look at the cool thing I made, you should go do something like this. This is fun. So that's really my goal. And I could talk forever about it, but. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And
thank
you for working on this problem. For your pitch, at first it sounds like you're trying to solve for kids, and then I wasn't clear until you just said, are these women that that are looking for a career change or just getting educated on? So I like to understand if you want to franchise this, I feel like it's got to be something along those lines. Yeah. And how many women do you think would want to change a career at that age? I actually, what I consider myself is the appetizer or the amuse-bouche of coding. I am not doing vocational training. What I really want to do is I want to ignite people's interest and passion in coding and show how much fun it can be. So really, I am aiming for the next generation. I want women to be able to say, this is cool, this is really fun, but I also want women, if they are thinking about a career change or if they want to understand technology better, to use this as self-improvement. So I feel like I'm hitting both generations.
Carrie, I love your mission. I think bringing women to STEM, I think, is fabulous. My hurdle, I have a couple hurdles here.
Okay.
Do you see your customers right now as repeat customers, or is this a one-off now?
No, totally. So so I see, just to kind of go back to here, I have multiple projects. So this could be the first class you take and you start playing with lights. This could be the second class you take and you start playing with motors and servos. I also teach app design, and so I really see this as being a long strand of classes.
Is your experience showing you, though, that it's more than a novelty night out, that you're getting repeat people to come and do this?
So I've only run the 2 pilots.
Yep.
But my feedback was, first of all, it's one of those things when you learn something, you're like, oh, I didn't quite get it. It's not like you could do this. I mean, you could, because all the stuff is open source. But people were looking for something. They're like, I can't wait to do this again. I can't wait to learn more. So based on feedback, I really think that I will have, I think like maybe 10 to 20% of my customers will be repeat customers.
And then my other comment is, when you talked about your target market, women who have girls in their lives, I think that is just such a huge, I think it needs focus.
So what my feedback was that I am really focused on mothers, but I've had women come up to me and say, I've got a niece, I'm a grandmother, and so while I'm really focused on moms in that age group, I'm certainly not going to turn away women who just want to come and learn this whether or not they have, you know, you don't have to be related to a girl to influence.
No, I totally understand that. You wouldn't turn away customers, but I think that maybe you could use a little more focus in actually who your real target customer is to get that early traction. And
I agree.
And then spread out.
Yeah, so for instance, my marketing right now is at elementary and middle school parents.
Okay, so what is your marketing? How do you reach these folks?
So I use Facebook ads. I go directly to PTAs. I go to principals. I also, because I'm running Code Wagon camps, there's this nice synergy between reaching parents who are thinking about wanting their girls to take a coding camp and reaching those same moms who want to understand what this technology is all about.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So the experience of skiing is awesome. However, the user experience of ski boots is not. Based on our experience, at least 1 out of 2 customers experience some type of boot discomfort. Uncomfortable ski boots in the ski industry is a big problem. And we are devoted to solving this problem, and we came up with our system called Split Fit Boots. My name's Kelly Rostello. I'm the inventor and founder of Split Fit Boots. And this is my wife, Irina Rostello, and she is the co-founder. I fit boots for 10 years in a specialty ski shop, and I kept hearing the same customer complaints over and over about ski boots being so uncomfortable and so hard to get on and off that I thought, somebody's got to solve this problem. Ski boots are the most important piece of equipment in skiing. They can make or break a day on the slopes, a ski trip, or even a skiing career. We created a ski boot that offers the same performance as traditional ski boots so that you don't have to sacrifice performance for comfort. You can get both. We filed for it and was issued a patent, and we also have a continuation patent pending as well. We have a current working prototype that I've skied over 50 times, so I know this boot can perform. Yeah, well, you just do it manually. So our shell design opens up so it's much easier to take on and put on and take off because the liner can slide into it after the user has put the liner on first. There's 2 cable buckles, one in the front and one on the bottom, that keep the 2 halves securely shut, not allowing water or snow to get in. Having the shell open up like this allows for much easier access to the interior of the shell. This will help boot fitters to need less time to customize the shell because they'll be able to pinpoint to stretch and grind a lot easier inside the shell. The liner will be made out of memory foam, so it will mold to the foot every time it's put on. This will allow for even rental customers to get a custom fit, which currently doesn't exist. Current retail boots use a little bit of carpet padding and a little bit of heat moldable foam, which can only be molded once and does not allow for changes in the foot anatomy or the position or placement of the foot between each use. The liner is going to be similar to like a slimmed down snow boot or winter boot. It will be completely waterproof. It will have a sole for traction, and it will make it great for walking, driving, or even après skiing. So the shell will have the ability to have a snap-in shim. This will allow for different shapes and widths of liners to fit into the same shell. This will help to reduce production costs because we won't need as many molding casts. And because of the snap-in shim, we will only need to have 1 or 2 models to capture all the consumers' different shapes and widths, which current manufacturers are unable to do. And current retail stores cannot carry all the models offered from each manufacturer, so therefore they both miss an opportunity to gain customers. So our industry outlook is desirable. According to SIA, in the 2015-2016 season, there were 11.5 million downhill skiers. We assume that the European market is at least the same size because it's probably most likely even larger. So our total estimated market is 23 million. As you can see, that same year there were about 900,000 units sold in North America for about $250 million sold. So we anticipate getting at least 1% of the total units sold in the 2020-2021 season. We hope to have a variety of ability levels and prices, but for the first season, we'll most likely have 1 advanced boot at a suggested retail price of $750. For us, it would be at a wholesale price of $325. And after estimating for cost of goods sold, it would be a $175 per unit net profit. We plan to sell 10,000 units in year 1 and 31,000 units in year 3 for roughly $5 million in net profit in year 3. So we have two main competitors, both of which offer similar features and benefits. They both satisfy customer demand for comfort and ease of entry. However, they're never going to be adopted by advanced skiers or go mainstream because they do not perform the same as traditional ski boots, because they don't flex the same as traditional ski boots. Our boots are going to perform the same as a traditional ski boot because you still have a hard plastic shell wrapping the entirety of the foot. And it gives much better much better transmission of power to the ski as a result. So our biggest cost to get to the next phase is going to be the 3D printed shells, prototype liners, buckles, and hinges. We've gotten 2 proposals from local engineering firms to help us laser scan this prototype here, create the CAD images, and also help us find the manufacturers for tooling and liners. Once we build and create the next generation prototypes, we plan to use those prototypes to solicit further investors so that we can raise the funds necessary to hire machinists to build the molding casts, which are going to be needed to take this to full production using injection molding. Thank you.
Are you familiar with Scott Boots? I think Scott Boots maybe 20 years ago did this, except they split it in the back. It was 2 pieces, exactly what we were talking about, although I don't think you could walk around après ski with the liner. But I think that this was actually tried, but just a little bit different approach from what you're doing.
So I think what you're referring to is called a rear entry boot, and it kind of had like it opened up in the back. So those were really popular for the fact that you could get into them really easily. The reason that they didn't last very long on the market was because you need a good ankle and heel hold to get your ski to perform the way it needs to perform. So they never really gave the performance that was needed. And that's kind of why they fizzle out of the market. That's the same as the 2 main competitors I have right now. They just don't have the performance. They're too soft, and people need to be able to be confident in the second they're moving their foot in the ski boot, it's going to react to their ski.
Okay, so who do you see as your target market? Who would be the first people that you would say, wow, this will really help you?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's probably older skiers, probably mostly at first baby boomers or anybody with a foot injury. Really anybody that has a difficult time getting ski boots on. And then also the comfort factor, which like I said, fitting ski boots, I mean, at least 1 out of every 2 customers has some sort of boot problem that they're going to have to come back in, get it adjusted. Boots are just uncomfortable to begin with, and they take a lot of time to get them to really fit well. And you have to work with an experienced boot fitter to really get all those pressure points worked out.
So do you see this more as in a rental boot would be?
Possibly. You know, that's definitely an option. The only problem I see with the rental market is that you do have to be prepared to kind of lose out on the first 3 years because the retail shops want to have a very low price on a rental because they're buying those in mass, so they're going to want to have a very low price point. And I'm not sure if that's something that is going to be an option for us to go entry level. The other option for us is to license this, and we're still pursuing that option as well.
Okay, thank you. You talked about selling 10,000 units in your first year. That seems pretty aggressive. How do you plan to accomplish that?
Yeah, so we plan to go to the main trade shows. There's one in Denver for North America. It's called SIA, which is where I got those figures from. And then there's also one in Germany called ISPO. And that one's the main one that's kind of the overall world market. But anyway, I plan on selling both in the US, Canada, and Europe. I plan on going to those trade shows and really fulfilling the orders through there because most retailers go to those trade shows to pick out all their products to carry for the next year. That's kind of how the marketplace works with retail shops and manufacturers.
But you only have 1 prototype now?
So yeah, that's the plan is if we can raise either money through Kickstarter or if we win MVC, we're going to build out these next generation prototypes using 3D printing and use those to really solicit and even get pre-orders at some of the trade shows.
So all your 1% of the market is through retailers?
Yep.
So how many retailers do you think you're going to be able to, have you talked to any retailers first of all?
Well, I used to work for Christie Sports for 10 years. They have 50 stores throughout Colorado and Utah, so they're probably going to be my first contact because I have an in with the CEO and the COO. So.
Yeah, and they're having a tough time. Sports Chalet's gone, and right, so we've seen that retail side of it going down. So as you're seeing less and less new product on the market, I'm just curious again what the positioning is to get those retailers really excited about this, because that's probably, to me, like that's your biggest hurdle, right? How do I convince them to put this new boot?
Yeah.
This risk.
So the way I'm going to market to the retail stores is that this is something inventive and new. There hasn't been really anything this crazy in the ski boot market in the last 25 to 30 years. People are looking for something different, something new, and something that fulfills the need for comfort and ease of entry. Those are the two biggest complaints in the ski market, in the ski boot market, and those are the things that people are really wanting to have solved. And the retailers, well, actually the manufacturers have ignored that.
So if you solve that problem, how many retailers do you have to have this next season to get the 10,000 boots sold?
So I'm not planning on this next season because we still have to build out next generation prototypes. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to do 10,000 units, we'd have to probably be in at least 100 retailers, I would imagine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
One more question? What made you think about this?
So again, fitting boots for 10 years. I just kept hearing the same complaints over and over, and it just made me think these manufacturers are not doing anything to solve this. And the reason is the barrier to entry for ski boots is very high. I mean, the molding cast in themselves is $150,000, and that's per size, per width. So you're looking at millions of dollars just to come out with a new line of boots. So the barrier of entry has really stopped these manufacturers from coming up with any real new ideas. They just keep doing what works for them. So.
Great, thanks, Kelly.
Yep, thank you.
And so tonight, our judges selected a first and second place winner. Both will receive cash prizes to continue your work. So for our second place, we have Integrity Home Healthcare. And if you'll go ahead and do the awkward closing with the picture by the NBC sign. Oh, yeah. Like, all right, guys. And winners, too, you can email me after this to find out information about how you get your actual prize money. And for our winner, I do want to say that one of the most wonderful things about the general track is our competition is incredibly fierce, not only because of the quality of applicants we get and decks we get, but because there is such a wide variety of ideas. It's not all one particular industry or one particular problem to solve. So with that, I would like to announce our winner, Spectrums. And for those of you who are looking for feedback and other information, I will have written feedback from judges' notes tomorrow, but I also encourage everyone to hang out, chat with each other's competitors, and also our judges are very nicely giving us even more of their time this evening and have feedback as well. So enjoy, and I'll give you a 5-minute warning before we kick you out. Thank you all.